I had the intro queued up. It failed to play, but hey, let's just dive right in. What's up, guys? Welcome into another episode of All About Profit, episode 9, where we're going to be touching on everything Amazon. If you guys watched my last crib store video, I had Adam Arbitrage Garage here, who is down there on the bottom, and we toured his warehouse. He took us on a great tour and dove into a bunch of parts of his business. We're going to be talking even further on that. Plus, you guys asked a bunch of questions that we're going to ask him, and feel free to ask any questions in this. This is a live podcast, so feel free to send any questions that you may have. We're also joined here with my co-host, All AB Sneakers, Austin. So he's going to get us started here.
Yeah, the tour was awesome, and this pod I'm super stoked for because it's probably the topic that I know the least about. I don't do a lot of selling on Amazon, so that's why I was super intrigued by the tour, but also how like humble and inviting and transparent Amazon Adam was with the tour. We've got two Adams today, so I'm going to refer to them as eBay Adam and Amazon Adam. So maybe just to start out, and then we'll just fuel this with questions. Amazon Adam, can you kind of give us a lowdown of what FBA is, what that looks like, and how it works?
Yeah, so basically Amazon, there's two ways, FBM, fulfilled by merchant, and then there's fulfilled by Amazon. Fulfilled by merchant, very much similar to eBay. You're keeping everything at your place, you're packing, you're shipping, you're processing all the orders. FBA, instead of doing each order, you're buying them and shipping them in bulk into Amazon, and then they process all the orders for you. So they're packing, they're prepping, they're shipping, they're handling returns, customer service, and all that for you. I do a little bit of both, but I'm primarily FBA, simply because the volume I'm at this point, processing 100 orders a day, I'd get nothing else done but processing orders. So FBA kind of lets you scale to that point and move more inventory. So
do the margins look different between FBA and FBM then?
I actually just released a video on my YouTube channel the other day about this, comparing both of them, and it's actually pretty close. Obviously, there's certain items that it's going to change some, but I actually put in that video. I sold the same item, FBA and FBM, and they're within like 10 cents of each other.
Oh, wow.
The biggest thing with FBM is the prices kind of change depending upon your shipping, just like eBay or anything else. If you're shipping very close to you, it's going to be cheaper. If you're shipping on the other side of the country, it's going to cost more. So the FBM price can kind of move depending upon that, where the FBA price is always the same. Your FBA fee is the same. Your referral fee is the same. As long as your price is the same, it all stays the same. So they're close. FBA is a little more expensive on the fees, and then it depends on how long it's in there. If it's in there for 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, that'll cost you more money. That adds up. So the key to FBA is finding good, quick selling inventory that you can turn over real quick. Like most of my inventory is not sitting in there 30 days. I would say 25-30% of it is sold before it even gets to the warehouse. The way Amazon does it, as long as your shipping metrics are good, when my UPS guy picks up my shipment, as soon as he scans the package, it's live, and most of that stuff is selling a day or two after I shipped it. So that's the biggest thing, is just moving the inventory fast enough to keep those fees at a minimum.
Well, plus that's cool too, because then you're not having to, house all of your inventory, which you mentioned already that your warehouse is going to need to expand soon. But I guess that's a perk of FBA too, right? You don't have to hold as much inventory. It should all just sit at the Amazon warehouses.
Yeah, that's the nice thing. Like anybody who's asking, like, can I do this? Can I scale to a 6-figure business out of my apartment or a small area? You can do FBA out of a small space. Like I just need enough space to bring it in, process it, pack it in boxes. As you can see sitting behind me, these boxes behind me, that's an FBA shipment ready to go out tomorrow. That stuff I bought yesterday, processed it today, it's leaving tomorrow. So it's not sitting here very long. I don't have to store it. So anybody working out of a small space, that's the fastest way to do it. You don't have to worry about storage space. Bring it in, process it, get it out as quick as you can.
Use your garage, use your living room, whatever type of space you have. I've seen lots of people in, like he said, apartments, like just doing it all out of their living room and kitchen. You just get it packed up and send it off.
Yep.
What do you think your biggest shipment has been since you've started this? Like how many items?
That's hard to say. A lot of them I break up. Like I break them up into small shipments normally, but like all together, I mean, I've shipped 20 boxes at one time. I try to take it easy on my UPS guy, so I try not to put too much out there. I live in the middle of nowhere, so we're on a rural route, and he has a small truck. So he basically has, since I've started this, he has shifted his entire route. I'm now his last stop of the day instead of in the morning because he needs his truck empty to come pick up my stuff. But yeah, I mean, on average on a week right now, I'm packing them out myself. So I'm sourcing and packing out all the shipments myself at this point with a little bit of help now and then. I'm averaging about 700 units a week I'm sending out. But I'm selling 100 units a day. So that 700 a week doesn't keep me going. But I mean, every week I have to keep buying that to keep feeding Amazon. So on an average week, about 700 units. That's normally probably 2 or 3 days of pickups. I just split it up so there's not too much at one time.
Gotcha.
Got a couple questions here. How can I make more money on eBay? Not familiar to Amazon selling. This video is going to mainly be about Amazon, but I'll answer that quickly. All you need to do is buy faster selling through items on eBay, checking the sold comps and everything. If you don't know what any of that means, I show it all. I have all tutorials and stuff on my channel kind of explaining all that, but it's basically just doing the research on the items, the brands, whatever you're familiar with. If you've got a lot of thrift stores or whatever, that's a good place to do that at. So that's definitely a good way to make sure that you're doing the right thing on eBay and making sure that you're pricing within the market, which I have a video on that as well. So it's kind of a long-winded answer. So that's the shortest amount I can do that in. Live in Philadelphia. Okay, yeah. So you do have thrift stores and 1-bedroom apartment. And yeah, and this isn't just sourcing in store. Adam does a lot of retail arbitrage, but there's a lot of people that solely do online arbitrage, which is where you are ordering things from clearance sections online, and they get sent to your house, and then you ship them out from there. So people can do that too, but I wouldn't hop straight into that as it can be a lot riskier, and the market tanks along a lot of those items more as retail, which I think is that's why you do more retail, right?
Yeah. I just like the retail better, but yeah, I mean, I found that the retail arbitrage side of it, I mean, if it's at Target or something like that, every Target's going to have the same deal. But in order to get that inventory, you have to go out and get it. And the people that want to do the online side of it, it's a lot easier to sit at your computer and order it and have it come to you and don't have to go out and pack it in your vehicle and then bring it home and all that. So the retail arbitrage stuff, it seems to not tank as hard. So that is why I do more of that. I just enjoy the retail arbitrage side better too. I mean, I do OA. I do more OA now than I had done before. I just really like going out and finding the stuff and bringing it home. It's also a little bit quicker turnaround because if I'm ordering it online, I'm waiting 3 or 4 days for it to show up. I go out, like I said, I went out yesterday. Me and my wife went out sourcing yesterday. I think we bought like 500 units yesterday. We completely filled my truck, and half of that, at least half of that, is leaving tomorrow morning. It's already packed, ready to go. If I can get more out before the UPS guy gets here, it's all leaving tomorrow. So that's the biggest thing. Like, I can turn my inventory quicker. With the FBA stuff, you are kind of waiting a little bit longer to sell it because you have to send it into them. It has to receive, and then it has to ship out, and then you get paid. Where the FBM, you may be able to turn it over a little bit quicker, shipping it out yourself. But doing the RA and doing the FBA together allows me to move stuff pretty quickly.
We got a question from WV Scoop, Arbitrage Garage. What's your top 3 categories that you sell on Amazon?
So category wise, I would say, so my motto has always been sell boring stuff. So that's kind of what I do. I do eBay and Amazon. I sell completely different things on both platforms. My Amazon platform is boring, everyday stuff that everybody needs and uses. That stuff moves quick. That stuff is low return. If somebody's buying laundry detergent, they know what it is. They're not going to return that. So that kind of stuff. So I sell a lot of like health and beauty, small appliances, household goods, all of that kind of stuff. So just stuff you use every day and need every day is what I'm mainly selling. So those would be my categories, like household, health and beauty, and like small appliances and stuff like that. Obviously, when Q4 comes, I do more toys and all of that kind of thing. I stay away from clothes and shoes for the most part on Amazon. Crocs is the only exception to that. I do Crocs, but that's just because they move so fast.
Right. And you sell a lot of clothing and stuff like that because that's kind of what we cook a lot in bread and butter on eBay, which kind of leads us into the next question. What type of items do you send into Amazon versus selling on eBay? Which I think you kind of just answered. He stays away from the clothing and anything that really has sizes because people are going to just buy it to try on and then send it back. So the return rates are high on that. And then they ask also, how did you increase your eBay store so quickly?
I mean, basically, when I just went full time in February. It's now July, so I haven't been full time that long. I knew when I was going to go full time that I kind of wanted a backup. So I had an eBay store. I started one last year and ran some returns from Amazon and some bad buys and stuff like that on eBay. Wasn't really buying for eBay. So I just started researching the eBay side of it, and I had already known like the clothes and shoes. When I first started on Amazon, I did a lot of clothes and shoes on Amazon. So I kind of knew what worked, what sold, and what was good to buy for that. But then the returns happened. So I decided to quit doing that. So once I started my eBay store, I basically just went back to sourcing that same stuff I had sourced for Amazon, except flipping it on eBay. The other nice thing is because I do a lot of RA and I live in the middle of nowhere, like I have to drive at least 45 minutes to get to a store I can source or a lot of stores. What I actually do is I build like sourcing routes. So if I'm going sourcing, I source an entire day until my truck's full. So we left yesterday at 7 in the morning. We got back at like 10 o'clock last night. We went all day. And the nice thing about doing both of those is it allows me to go to an area and basically hit a bunch of different stores. I'm not sourcing one store for one thing. I can source Targets and Walmarts, and I can source Burlingtons and Rosses. And each store, I might be getting stuff for eBay in one store and Amazon in another, but it allows me to use my time more efficiently and use my day more efficiently. So that's how I scaled the eBay side. Basically, I was already doing the RA. I just kind of changed and added in the eBay side of it and just built it from there.
What were you doing full time before you started reselling?
I was a diesel mechanic for 18 years. So I had nothing to do with this at all. Yeah. I started out as an automotive tech, moved on to heavy diesel. The last main job I had for the last 8 years, I managed a pretty large landscaping fleet shop. So I was in charge of a couple other mechanics and about 600 units. I was in charge of making sure all the maintenance was done on. That's what I did. Started the Amazon thing last year. We always did some like side hustles and stuff. My wife, she's self-employed also. So like we always had kind of side jobs and stuff like that. And we kind of stumbled upon the Amazon stuff last year. I really didn't do a lot of research. We just kind of found it, looked into it. I'm like, let's give this a try. We jumped into it. She helped me get it running and stuff. And we were only that was last February. We made our first sale. Probably by like March or April, it proved itself pretty quickly. Like from the time we went live to the time we started selling, it was like within the week of being live, we sold our first item, I think the second day we were live. So we were like, well, this can actually build into something. So we kept going with it. And then it went from, it was going to be a side hustle to, hey, this could be full time. Like this could be, instead of working 60 hours a week for somebody else and beating myself up, like I could do this full time. And we just kind of built it from there. We kind of made a game plan. I knew working as many hours as I was working and scaling it as fast as I wanted to scale it wasn't going to be possible. So I actually left that job last June. I quit that job. I mean, I was making 6 figures at that job. I had good benefits and all that stuff. And I just kind of said, you know what? I need to move to something where I can work a little bit less. I didn't jump straight into the Amazon side of it right away. I actually moved to another mechanic job, but working less hours, took a pay cut, but I was able to adjust my schedule to where I only worked 4 days a week and I could put more time into the Amazon side. And then I just scaled it from there. I mean, we just kept, I didn't take any money out of the business until I went full time. So it was a little over a year and I didn't take anything out of it. I mean, at first it was a side hustle. And then it was once I knew that it could possibly work, I didn't want to touch any of the money. We just kept rolling everything back into it to grow it as big as we possibly could.
That's really the way to scale a business. And a lot of people, I think the people that are doing this to enjoy it, they're doing it to make the money, which you can't, the money comes along with it. You have to enjoy it. And we all enjoy what we do. And the way I scale my business the same way was just putting back everything I had. That's the only way to do it. Everyone asks, well, when can I start taking money out? Once you kind of get it to the level that you're comfortable with, then you can try to maintain that. But if you're trying to scale your business up higher, you're not going to get many profits out. You got to just keep reinvesting that money back in.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I feel like so many of these things do so well as a side hustle first, because you should never really need the money to start it. Like if you need the money right now, then it's not going to be as successful right off the rip. Paragraph.
You think Paragraph is taking notes or being lazy? I haven't even seen him in here.
He's gonna watch later, and then come to Discord
Yeah,
with all
and
the
I think
questions.
like you both said, like it's not about the money. Like this wasn't about the money to me. This was about the freedom of being self-employed. Like I did what I did for 18 years. I worked for somebody else. You know, I was on call. I worked for a landscape company. I live in Pennsylvania. We did snow removal in the winter. There was times in the winter as a mechanic, I would leave and I wouldn't be home for 3 or 4 days. And it was just that kind of stuff I was sick of. Like if I could do this and work for myself, if it was about the money, I would have stayed at that job. I got paid better there than what I'm paying myself right now. And the reason for that is I like to keep the money in the business. I could definitely pay myself better than I did make there, but I would rather see the business grow, live modestly, and just keep building this and see what I can build it into. So you definitely have to do it because you enjoy it. Like I love doing it. I love sourcing. My wife, she's just as good as I am at sourcing. She goes with me on the days she can, and we do it together. And we've grown it. And it's not, like you said, it's not about the money. If you're just doing it for the money, you're probably going to struggle with building it because you're going to be too focused on pulling that money out. Like you got to look at the bigger picture and want to build it into something bigger.
That's perfect for our next question. How do we get the eye of what to buy? The way I started was just going in the stores and looking up things that I was interested in. I knew hats, I knew clothing, I knew anything that had to do with sports teams. So I looked up those items. There's profit in every part of the store. Adam's talked about, he sells boring stuff. He's just going into the store and just scanning everything. For Amazon, you have the app and you just scan away and just look up the profit margins on everything. So it's really just getting out to the stores. For eBay, looking up the comps manually. For Amazon, just scanning as much as you can and kind of just building up that memory bank of what brands sell for what types of items sell for what, so that next time you're in there, you're not scanning every single item. You're just scanning the ones that point out to you from past experiences. That's the way I do it, at least.
Yeah. Same way for me. I mean, that, like I said, I kind of sell boring stuff. So I kind of looked at it from a different perspective when I started. Like I have a wife, I have 4 kids. So I'm looking at it from kind of the family perspective where like, what do we buy? What do we buy on Amazon? Like, what would we be purchasing? Like, what is a busy family that has sports going on and everything else? Like a mom is sitting at a soccer practice and thinks of something she needs and orders it on Amazon. That's the kind of products like we started thinking of when we went in a store. We're like, what do we want to buy? We want to buy stuff people are going to keep buying and buy because they need it. It's a necessity. The clothes and shoes are great. They sell great. There's good margins on them. But the stuff I'm selling is the stuff that just keeps selling over and over and over again. So that's, and like you said, you get an eye for it. I mean, once you do it, but seriously, when you start, the only way to learn, the only way to build like your knowledge of what to buy is, like you said, scan everything. And I tell a lot of new sellers that, and they'll kind of listen to you, but then they don't scan it. And I was guilty of it. When I started, you get a little bit lazy. You don't want to scan a whole aisle. But I'm telling you, if you go in there and you scan a whole aisle, you're going to find a brand or you're going to find a product that you didn't even think of that makes money. And then you just kind of build a list in your head. You go in the next store and you have that item or that brand in your head, add 2 or 3 or 4 more to that. And then that's just how you compile it. I get asked all the time, like, how do you buy so much stuff doing RA? Well, that's how we do it. Like, we might go into one store and we might scan and we might find 3 or 4 or 5 products. Now, the next store of the same store, we're not just going to go in and buy those 5 things. We're going to go in, we're going to buy those 5 things we found in the last store that we know makes money, but we're going to scan new stuff that we know we didn't scan yet. And we're going to add 3 or 4 more things to that list and then just keep compiling it. Maybe you hit 4 or 5 of the same store in a day, and by the end of the day, you're buying 15 different products instead of 5 that you bought at the first store. That's how you fill the truck up. And then you just kind of watch those products, see how they're selling, watch for, like you said, price tanking. I mean, that's just part of it. There's nothing you can do about that. So each time I go back out, if I go 1 or 2 days a week, like I know the products I just bought the other day, but I'm checking. Is the price still good? Is it still making money? If it is, I buy it again. Is it selling fast? I buy it again, as long as I'm not having returns and stuff. And then you just build that, like you just build that knowledge. And there's no trick. There's no course that's going to teach you how to do that. You just got to do it. I mean, that's the only way to learn it, honestly.
Yeah, people are going to try to sell you on courses and products and everything, but they're sending those products out to a million people that sign up to their newsletter or whatever you're on. So like, or tactical arbitrage where people, we were just talking about that before the show, where people pay for a service that just sends them Amazon leads and then shows them what the profit is. But that thing is sending it out to like a million people. So that's going to get tanked down, and people usually take a loss on those things. You got to get out there to the stores. You've got to just build that mental knowledge. There's only so many videos that you can watch out there. You just got to do it. Like you said, get out there, scan stuff. That's all there is to it. You're going to build up that memory bank, and you're going to know brand after brand after brand, and keep building that knowledge. Keep on learning different categories. We have so many questions. I'm trying to keep up. So what did you guys do before you started selling?
Go ahead.
Host of the show, what did you do before you started selling? I've always resold through high school and college. That's all I've ever done. Then I went full time after college.
Whenever I was 18, I graduated high school and I took a gap year before I went to college and met Adam. And I started working at an oil change and car wash in my hometown. And 9 years later, I'm still at the same place. So I help manage car washes and oil changes in Central Ohio. And I can kind of relate to Amazon Adam's story because, I mean, it's super demanding. I mean, we work a lot of hours. We're on call pretty much 24/7. We're working for a private business owner, which has its perks, but it really is. It's physically and mentally demanding. And I feel like that's part of the reason why, I mean, it got me involved in real business. So it kind of inspired me to have my own side hustles too. But then you want something of your own. Like you see somebody hustling for themselves, you want something of your own. So I feel like that's why I started to build these side hustles with the shoes and in my own business with the storage and reselling, obviously. But I wanted to ask the question too, then, like, at what point do you feel, I don't want to say complacent, but like feel comfortable enough where you're like, okay, I've scaled this to where I want it? Because like the job that you left, it was physically demanding. It was a lot of hours, but at the same time, now you're trying to start something new and you don't want it to fail. So you're putting in a lot of time to, source and list and make sure that this is successful. And I heard you talking about, your goals, monetary goals over the next couple of years. So at what point do you see yourself being able to get some of that time back, but also earn enough income to be comfortable?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, like, I could be comfortable and be right where I wanted to be right now. You know what I mean? I'm making enough profit now that I could match what I did before. But it's one of those things where I kind of want to build this a little bit bigger. I want to make it a little bit bigger than it is now. Me and my wife have some goals down the road. Like, we would like to work towards doing some different things, and as a business it would allow us to do it, as far as like some charity stuff and different things we'd really be interested in doing. Like I said, she runs her own business too, so we're kind of just trying to both build them up to the point where they're kind of self-sustaining. And I'm not done growing it. I know I look at it, and my wife the same way. We both talked about this. Like, look at where we were a year ago. You know what I mean? So 12 months from now, where are we going to be? Right. The biggest thing now for me is like, I'm doing a lot of it. She helps me source, but like packing it out. And then now we're doing the eBay side also. And then we're doing YouTube stuff now. So adding that all in, I am running myself crazy to do it. So basically I'm at the point where I'm going to bring somebody on. I'm going to bring help on next month. I'm actually bringing somebody in to help me do like the packing and shipping and the prepping. She knows how to list on Amazon or eBay now. Like, I've already had her here a couple times. It's a family member, so it's real easy to train her in and kind of just see where we can grow it. You know what I mean? Let it feed my family, let it feed her family, see how much further we can build it. We've kind of set a goal, like next year I'd like to do at least 1.5 million, and then the next year probably 3 million. I think if I could do about 3 million and maintain it, that's where I would like to be a year. And my thing is, like, I don't want to do it for the money. You know what I mean? I really honestly don't plan on giving myself a raise anytime soon. You know, I don't, if you saw my crib store, like I don't drive a Lamborghini, you know, we have horses and stuff and different things like that. I have no interest in any of that stuff. You know, I just want to have a comfortable living, you know what I mean? And I want to just build it up to something that can maintain itself. You know what I mean? Build it into a business that can maintain itself. And then, like you said, there's some other businesses and stuff we've talked about, getting into some commercial real estate and some different things like that. I think the biggest thing as a business owner is like just having multiple sources of income. You know what I mean? You have, and then you get to that point where maybe you can back off the reselling, or maybe I can train somebody to do it good enough that they're running most of the reselling side of it, and I can do some of these other things and have more time. So, I mean, that's one of those things. We're not there yet. Like, we're still in the hustle mode. Like, we're still building it. I can tell you, I mean, we built fast, but there was a lot of sacrifice went into building it fast. Like, I was working 60 hours a week, and I was coming home every night. I was getting home at like 6 o'clock at night, and I was working till 1 a.m, trying to get this stuff out, trying to build it. When we first started, we were doing all FBM. I built the FBM side. We did all FBM. We were doing 15, 20,000 a month on Amazon FBM. So we were packing out 40, 50 items a day. And then I would get up in the morning and you'd have 15 more things that sold overnight. And I'm up at 4 a.m. packing these out to get them out before I went to work. So there was definitely a lot of sacrifice. Like, it's not easy to build it. It's not easy to build it fast, but it's one of those things where you see what it can be. You know what I mean? I think also, no matter what you're doing, like, if you have that entrepreneurial spirit in you, like you always have, that's what the side hustlers are. You know what I mean? They have that in them. They kind of always want to move on to that point where they're owning their own business, but you have that safety net of working for somebody else. You have that safety net where you don't have to worry about it. You get up, you go to work, and you get a paycheck. You know what I mean? If once you're a business owner, like, you got to wake up every morning with a little bit of fear in you. You know what I mean? You got to be thinking, what do I need to do today to keep this growing, to keep this moving? Like, what do I got to source today? What do I got to ship out today? What do I got to do to keep that going? Because you know nobody else is going to do it. And I think that's the thing. Like, once you get to that point, you can finally take that jump. Like, it's a big step, but it's so much nicer getting up every day and working for yourself and just doing it yourself. And some people may never want to do that. I mean, my story, I just try to tell like what I did and how I built it, because maybe it is something that somebody's thinking about for some side money as a side hustle. It's definitely possible. If it's possible for me working the hours I did to build this the way I did, it's definitely possible for somebody to do less hours and make a nice side income to help support their family.
For sure. I think we're probably trying to jump through some questions, but I think it's kind of interesting how you guys have both taken kind of different approaches with scaling your business. eBay Adam is kind of happy with his growth where he's at. He doesn't want to take on an employee. Amazon Adam is now taking on an employee. It probably helps that, like, you're keeping it in the family. But a question for both of you: if you were to take on an employee, how does that job posting look, and how do you look at somebody and determine a salary or a percentage of the business to share with them? Have you guys thought about those approaches at all?
I thought it definitely has to be like a family member, like a close friend that I trust. But then I'm also like, I don't know if I want a friend, because then you wouldn't be able to, or family. Then it's like, if they're not doing what you want, it could get kind of dicey if you're like trying to cut them off. So it's got to be someone, that has a good work ethic, which it sounds like he's found the perfect person for that. They've already learned in a couple sessions. So that's great. But yeah, I have thought about it. I've hired a couple people, like part-time friends, to like help me package in Q4, but that's about it. But yeah, if I was doing full-time, it would definitely have to be someone that you really trust and know is going to work and is not going to just like use you to make money.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to burn bridges with family members, but
right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. Like, and that's why I waited and then I found it's my wife's niece to do this because I knew she had the work ethic. And like Adam said, you want somebody that you can trust. Like, I want to be able to let her do this, like, without me hovering over her, and just trust her that she's doing it. She's doing it right. Like, she's doing it the way it needs to be done. I think the biggest thing with Amazon is a lot of Amazon sellers will scale to the point where they want to get a prep center. You know what I mean? They want to outsource it. You hear that quite a bit. Like people want to outsource it. And the thing I thought of was, for one, doing a lot of RA, the outsourcing is a little hard because I'd have to ship it to them. But the other thing is you start figuring out those costs. Like if it's $1.50 a unit to pack and prep that for a prep center to send that in for you. Like if I'm doing 700 units a week or 800 units a week right now by myself, that's $800 a week that I'm paying somebody else to do it. If I pay an employee that salary per week, you know what I mean? It may be more than that person makes now, and it's saving me money in the end. I can make sure the stuff is packed, prepped, and shipped the way I want it. I can oversee the whole process. And not only that, if we're doing more than the 700 units a week, I can teach that person to help me do pictures and stuff for eBay. You know what I mean? They can draft my eBay listings and sit them in there, and I can just check them and list them. That gives me more time to source. That gives me more time to do whatever else I need. And that just lets me grow the business even bigger. Because that's the biggest thing with this, no matter if you're doing eBay or Amazon, like you have so many parts to this business. You have to list the stuff. You have to source the stuff. You have to ship the stuff. Like that all takes time. So each item that you're doing, and as you scale and you get more stuff and more orders and all that, that eats away at the time you can source, or that eats away at the time you can pack or ship or do all this other stuff. So the biggest thing for me is like you make your money when you're sourcing. Buying the inventory is where you're making your money. Like those purchases is what you have to be doing to make the money. So the less time you're sourcing, or the less time you have to jump on deals when they happen or go to clearance sales or something like that, the more money you're losing. So if I can take some of the mundane tasks of packing and prepping and know somebody's doing them the right way, and I can spend more time sourcing, that's just going to grow the business even bigger.
Right. Plus you have the knowledge. So that's the most important part for your business, is for you to be outsourcing. I don't know. I think about it from all different aspects. I feel like at some point it's going to be kind of hard to like keep, aside from it being a family member or whoever. Let's just say you hire some random who needed a job. I just feel like it's going to be hard to like keep them on, keep them motivated. And like, especially once they see the different aspects of the business and how much money you bring in, then they're going to be like, well, what's stopping me from doing this myself? I've already learned all these aspects of the business. I don't know. I'm interested to see how that plays out, because I see a lot of people doing this, and I've never met anybody with their employees.
You'll have to subscribe to Arbitrage Garage to maybe to find out.
I'm honestly interested to see how it works out also. So
I
we haven't taken that jump yet. So, but I mean, she's family, and it's kind of one of them things where she kind of knows, and I've already told her, like, I don't want to build this to put all this money in my pocket. So if we build this and it's making good money, I'm going to pay you better, and I'm going to let you run this portion of it and do what you want to do with it and teach you how to do the whole business. Mm-hmm. And it's not one of the things with her being family. I know she's not going to go open up her own and start her own thing. But like you said, if it was some random person off the street, you teach them everything you know. What is stopping them? You know what I mean? From going out and just starting their own business. I mean, you're right.
I mean, that happens a lot. You probably saw that with your landscaping companies too. How many guys did you have on your crews mowing and trimming, and they started something on their own? Yep.
Happened all the time.
Yeah.
All right, we got to get to some questions. I can't even scroll through all these. Let's crank through these.
I have too many questions, and I'm being selfish.
What's your average profit margin you aim for to receive on Amazon? That is a loaded question for you.
Yeah, that's kind of a hard one. So, it kind of depends on how you look at it. I don't really shoot for a certain profit margin. A lot of the stuff I'm buying, like my average sale price of a unit on Amazon is probably $25 to $30. I'm not selling $150 items, but that $25 sale is an item I'm buying for $4 or $5, and I'm making $5 to $10 profit on it. A lot of my shipments, like I use Inventory Lab so I can track exactly what's coming in and going out as far as net profit. My net profit's usually over 100% of what I've spent. So if I spend $1,500, I might be making $2,000 net profit. I don't really look at each item individually. Like when we're sourcing, we usually shoot for $5 minimum profit. But like I said, we're buying $5 items. So that's 100% ROI on those items. So you're getting it right back. You're doubling your money. I mean, a lot of what I'm buying is I'm trying to double. So I would say that's kind of what I'm trying to achieve, is a double up on most things. Now, certain things I'll drop my ROI on. I mentioned Crocs. I know Adam sells a lot of Crocs. I'll drop my ROI on Crocs. Like I'll spend $15 or $20 on a pair of Crocs to make $7 or $8 because I know those things are going to sell insanely fast. Like they're going to sell so quick. I'm going to get my money back so quick. I know I can move a high volume of them. I bought 200 pair like a week ago, and I think I sold 150 pair in 4 days. So like I've moved so many Crocs this week that I should have bought 500 pair of those Crocs. I mean, that's what happens to you every time you find something and you think about it, and you should have bought more. But yeah, I mean, most of the stuff I'm buying, I'm doubling up on profit wise. The thing with Amazon is it's so hard to calculate because there's so many fees. And that's the problem with Amazon. You start selling and you're looking at your yellow bar graphs that everybody likes to share and show you and tell you on videos you can do $1 million a set. They're not telling you what they're making at the end of the month. And the things that catch you are the returns, the reimbursements, the storage fees. All this stuff costs you money. Like every time you have something returned on Amazon, you're losing money. And that's the thing. Like I've heard multiple people say returns don't matter. Returns absolutely matter. Like I looked at my sales last year and like I sat down before I went full time and I'm like, where am I losing money? Where am I making money? What can I do to do better? And the returns. I looked at the categories. Like I said, I use Inventory Lab. I can break it all down by category and store and everything and tell you how much I made where. And I saw where I was losing, you know what I mean? I lost $6,000 last year in returns, and that was doing way less than what I do now. You know what I mean? Last time I looked, I have like over $20,000 in returns so far this year, but it's proportional to what I'm selling. So the biggest thing is those numbers you're not catching. So watching your numbers on Amazon is your biggest thing. If you're looking at it as a per item basis, you might look at it and say, okay, I'm making $5 on this, but if it gets returned or it goes in and gets storage fees, those are the things you really got to watch on Amazon. So my biggest thing is like, try to get it as high as you can. Try to give yourself, like if you're buying cheap items, like I'm saying, you don't want to be buying items you're making $2 profit on.
Double up.
For one, yeah, double up. Try to double up, because if you're making a $2 profit on something, by the time you get that in there, if that price drops $1 or $2, you're not making anything. And then you get a handful of returns, you're negative. Even if you bought 100 of those units and you're only making $2 or $3 a unit, you get a handful of returns, you're negative on that whole thing. And I think that's the biggest thing with Amazon is watching that and being aware of that as you scale. Try to double up your money. Like I said, on a $100 item, you're not going to double up. It's not going to happen. But when you're starting out, buy those cheaper items you can double your money on. That's the fastest way to scale, because you can take $100 and if you can turn that into $200, like, and then just keep compounding that. That's how I grew it from where I did to where I am now.
Wait, so our goal isn't just to sell as much as we can to boost those orange bars, even if we lose money?
Yeah, exactly. It's all about those orange bars. Even if you have a 1% profit margin on that, as long as that chart looks good, that's what really matters.
That's what anyone seems to care about. So
yep.
Adam's shooting for $1 million in sales, 900,000 invested.
Yes. Has ungating ever been challenging for you? I know for me it's not. It's pretty easy in most anything.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, at first, maybe the first one or two things I did, it might have taken a couple tries. But I'm going to make a video about the whole ungating process. The problem is I'm not gated in much anymore. So I had to find something I was actually gated in and I could walk through the whole process. But it's not hard. And I think the more documenting and the more information you give Amazon, the quicker they kick them back. Like since I started putting notes on them and then also taking pictures of the invoice and the units to prove that I had it. That was one thing they would always kick, is and tell you that the order wasn't fulfilled. So if you show them you have it, that's a quicker way to get it to approve. And ever since I've used that method, I've probably done 8 or 9 brands since then. I've never had one take more than one try. So it's really not a hard process as long as you're getting the correct invoices and everything you need.
That brings us into our next question. What is ungated? Basically, products on Amazon brands, when you get on there, like Nike, Adidas, let's say, for example, are gated. So you can't sell them until you get an invoice from a manufacturer of 10 of that item, submit that, and then you become ungated, meaning that you can sell it. Next question is for Amazon Adam as well. When did you start seeing big money coming in? Within 6 months or so?
I mean, that's kind of a hard question too. So I wasn't really looking at, I wasn't really looking. What's that?
What are you at now, like year to date? Because we're like, what? We're 6 months in this year, but you've got over a full year under your belt now, right?
Yeah, I'm over a full.
Rumble.
So I'm 18 months in, and I'm over 600 and some thousand right now at 18 months in. I'm averaging. I was averaging like 50K a month, a little more. I'm above that now. I mean, I think this month I have 40K already, and we're only like 20 days in. So
He's going for a milli this year. I'm calling it for him.
That's what
We're
yeah. We had 500,000 as the goal set, and then we started building quick enough that it's growing. The biggest thing with starting on Amazon is you don't see the money right away. I just did a video the other day about released it today about starting, and Amazon holds money in account level reserve, and nobody talks about that. Like, I know when I started investing money in it. I started with we started like with $100. We bought some things, they sold right away. So we kind of had a conversation, said, let's put $1,500 in this and let's see what it does. Well, I went out and I bought $1,500 worth of stuff and I sold it all, but that money didn't come back right away. It took a month and a half to get that money back. And that's the biggest thing when starting this is it's possible and you'll see those sales, but it takes a little bit. So I would say, yeah, by 3-4 months in, you're going to start seeing that. As long as you're buying good inventory, you're going to start seeing that come back in where if you want to make a side income, you're going to have enough to pay yourself $1,000 a month, you know what I mean? Or $2,000 a month, whatever it might be. You can do that 3 or 4 months in if you want to, but it's one of those things where if you're pulling that profit out, that business is only, if you put $1,500 in and you pull all that profit out, the most that business is ever going to have for inventory rolling is that $1,500. If you take that $1,500, and like I said, if you're buying products like I try to buy and double up, you turn that into $3,000, and then you take that $3,000 and turn it into $6,000, and you just keep that rolling. That's how you build it to where it is. So you kind of got to make that choice. Like, if you want it to be a side hustle, maybe you get to a point where you're making consistently $1,000 or $2,000 a month that you can pull out of it, and you stay there. You keep buying good inventory and you maintain that. So it's kind of a decision you have to make. But
I feel like people have a hard time realizing that with any business, really. Like, you see, any company that grows, people look at what it's worth versus what the people have, and they automatically think you just have a bunch of money because you have a business that's worth a lot of money. And it doesn't work like that. You have to continue to put the money into the business, just like Adam said, and not the same amount of money. You got to keep putting more money into that business if you want it to grow. Otherwise, you're going to have a stagnant business.
Yeah.
Next question. Do you sell used items like liquidation pallets on Amazon? I think I can answer this for him. I wouldn't suggest selling used items on Amazon. You're going to be asking for returns.
No.
Do you only buy discounted items to sell? I know for me, yes. Most items I sell, like, people crap on resellers all the time and call us scumbags and stuff. But what we're really doing is buying discounted items and then reselling them for under retail for the most part. So if you want to call us scumbags, you should be calling Walmart and all those other companies the same thing.
I'm a scumbag.
And the thing is, the stuff's discounted because they couldn't sell it. You know what I mean? They're selling it in a brick and mortar store, or they're selling it on their website. If we take that and we put it on Amazon or we put it on eBay, we're putting that in front of a lot more eyeballs. We're putting it in front of a lot more people that can buy it. So that's the big difference. You can probably find some full price items you could flip on Amazon, but it's really hard to do. I mean, you're definitely looking for sales. You're looking for discounted clearance stuff, things like that. I mean, that's primarily what you're buying for Amazon to make a profit.
Yeah, Austin's the scumbag. He sells shoes marked up.
Yeah, I'm buying stuff for retail, charging triple just because. Totally different, though. I mean, the hype items, you're gonna have a really, really hard time scaling a business just on hype items. They're harder to buy, they're more expensive, so that's definitely not what eBay and Amazon are about.
Next one. Any tips on where to buy wholesale items? That's really just like making connections. Again, if you're like paying for people's courses on wholesale and stuff, like, they're not giving up their best stuff. They're not giving up their best places. You really just got to talk to people, get out there, go to some pallet places, some liquidation places, network, and see what you can find. It takes years to make connections.
Yeah. Finding local sources is your best way, because if you can find them on the internet, everybody can find them. I don't really do much wholesale. I mainly arbitrage. I do have a local supplier that does like candy and stuff like that. So over the winter, I'll move some of that stuff wholesale. I can buy skids of stuff from them, but they're local. You know what I mean? The same people, they do sell like online and whatever, but you're going to pay a bunch of shipping to get that, where I can drive there and pick it up. So I can get it a lot cheaper. I can buy it and get good margins on that kind of stuff. So if you want to do wholesale, finding local wholesalers is going to be your best bet.
Next question: are we in a recession? Is this politics stream? I mean, I'd say we are, but we even made Austin our first episode. This is what items sell in a recession. So I guess we called it, and we are in a recession. But reselling is going to be around forever. People say it. Things like that are going to stop it. Things are always in need. So like, even if you're in a recession, you just sell the necessities. Like Adam was talking about earlier, I've been selling a ton of underwear and socks. People are always buying that. So you kind of just shift your business. You always have to be learning and adapting.
Yeah. Think about like what people are going to stop spending money on whenever they don't have it. They're going to stop spending money on the things that they really don't need. Like they might stop paying for their Netflix subscription or things like that. They're not going to stop buying food, clothes.
Yeah.
Love the show. Thank you. We do this like probably 1 or 2 a month, I'd say. Every two to 4 weeks. We try to do 2 a month. We're not
mostly
great
on
at
Thursdays around this same time.
Yep.
Hopefully the next one it might be in
person.
person. Yeah, so that would be sick. Thanks for tuning in.
Business. I'm trying to catch up on these.
Yeah,
You said buying Crocs. Where do you buy your inventory at? All three: buy new and used Crocs. I only buy new ones. All different places. We're constantly calling out a bunch of leads for Crocs and bread and butter. It's literally, whoa, Austin just lost power.
Power's out, guys. That's not good. I'm gonna get a light and I'll be right back.
His stream is still going though. What a man.
I'll get a light. Hold on.
Okay. I'll keep going. There we go. It's back. No, all different places like Crocs.com, Amazon, Nordstrom Rack just had some today. I mean, literally everywhere. Just constantly be looking. It's not like we're all just going to one place to buy it. You have to hustle. Whether you're doing retail or online, you got to hustle. If you're doing online, you got to check your 30, 40 websites a day, scroll through the brands that you know. If you're doing retail, you got to get out there and hustle in store and just scan a bunch of stuff. There's only so many things that you can automate in this game, kind of like we talked about earlier. You just got to hustle. You got to get out there and you just got to do it.
My printers are all making weird noises now. We're having really bad storms. They're probably
it went north. It went north of me. Thank goodness.
Yeah, we're getting smoked right now.
Keep asking me for an invoice from a manufacturer, so I gave up on Amazon. I don't really understand how to sell. Well, you need to follow Arbitrage Garage because he's going to help you out. It's really not that hard. You probably were submitting a receipt, I'm guessing, and not an invoice. Invoice has to be from certain websites. I have an ungating video. He's got one coming that's going to be even more detailed, so be looking for that.
Yeah.
And it is intimidating at first. I feel like you guys might agree. eBay's probably a little less intimidating, but I don't feel like it's something that you can't do.
I like it. Proud scumbag, something like that on a t-shirt.
Motivated scumbags, baby.
Oh, how about some bags that say scumbags?
Oh,
how have I not thought of that?
That's nasty. That is so sick. mpmerch.com, right? Is that the link?
Yeah, thanks.
mpmerch.com. Scumbags coming soon.
Just put scum on the side. You got to put it together.
Yes. One says scum, one says bag. No, that's sweet.
Next profit bag drop. While we're on the subject, it's going to be before Christmas. I just ordered the Christmas bags that take a good 3 to 4 months for production and to get here. So it'll be soon. Should I worry about sending too many of one SKU at a time to FBA? That would be for Adam.
That's a question I get quite often. How many do you buy? How many different things should you buy? The biggest thing I would say is you want to be careful going too deep on one item. If you're finding that item, no matter if you're buying it in store or you're buying it online, that means other people can also find that item. So when you're starting out, the best advice I have for people starting out is go wide, not deep. So instead of buying 5 or 6 different ASINs and 50 or 60 of each, buy 20 different ASINs and buy 10 of each. Then not only are you spreading out the risk over all of those items, you're also giving yourself more of a chance to win buy boxes. Buy boxes is basically the buy button on Amazon, and that's basically how you make sales. You want to win that. If you only have 5 products and you have 50 of each, you only have 5 buy boxes you can win. If you spread that out and you have 20 items, that's 20 buy boxes you can win. That's more consistent sales. So I would say it really depends on your business. Like I go deeper now than I used to, simply because I have the capital to do it. I know I can move it quick enough, and I need that volume to keep my business moving and growing. But when starting out, I would say keep it reduced. Now send 10 or 20 of an item in there. Before you send more in, if you know you can get more, double check that price. Make sure it's still profitable. I have things all the time. It happens to me all the time. I'll buy something, I'll send it in, and a week later or 2 weeks later, I'm like, that product hasn't sold yet. And I check it. The price has dropped. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where you got to think about, do you want to drop your price? Do you want to leave your price there? When you're first starting out, you got capital tied up in that. You got to do what you got to do to move the stuff quicker. You don't have as many options. Now where I'm at now, like I can let it sit. I know the price is going to come back, so I let it sit and I let it go later. So I would say you can't really send too many of a SKU at one time, but I say try to spread out your capital over more, and then just keep replenishing. If the price holds, keep buying it and sending more in. That's what I do.
Hey, thank you. Just got a sub to all of us. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate the support.
Who'd you learn from before beginning to sell on Amazon? That's a good question.
No one really.
You just got out there and scanned.
Well, and that's the biggest thing. Like I didn't spend a lot of time researching it. Like I said, I kind of stumbled upon it, jumped in, and we bought the subscription. We paid for the pro subscription. I said, let's throw $40 at this and see what happens. And we learned the hard way. I mean, I bought bad inventory. I didn't know what a sales rank was. I went out and was buying stuff. I had no idea. I scanned it, looked like it made money. We bought it. And we lost money on some of that stuff. You know what I mean? And the more we did it, the more we kind of learned. I don't say there's one person, like just kind of watching some YouTube videos here and there. The problem is there's a lot of bad information out there for Amazon, or there's a lack of the information out there because they're holding back information to get you to buy a course or buy a guide or something like that. You don't need any of that. Like you don't need courses and guides. You can learn it by doing it. It takes more work that way, but it's going to be better in the long run because you're going to know how to do it. You're not going to have somebody else handing you how to do it. You're going to understand the process, and you're going to be able to go out there and replicate that process over and over again. The key to making the money on Amazon is to find the products nobody else is finding. If you're buying that stuff off a leads list, or you're buying that stuff a certain way somebody showed you to source that, no matter if it's a software or whatever it may be, or you're just watching the videos and somebody goes to Target and is sourcing Target, and you go in there and buy everything they bought, that's a terrible idea. If they're showing it on YouTube and thousands of people are buying it, I will guarantee you that price will tank before you can even get it into Amazon. Get an idea maybe of different things that make money, but do not buy the same things. Like watching some videos and kind of getting ideas of different categories and stuff is a good idea. You know what I mean? To kind of make you think of things you may not think of on your own, but definitely just don't go out and just duplicate what somebody else is doing. Go out and find that thing that no one else is finding. That's where you're going to make the money. The other thing is scanning barcodes is one thing, but a lot of the good inventory I find does not come up by barcodes. So I'm either manually searching those items or taking pictures of them or whatever, or they're multi-packs or something like that, multiple quantity things that people aren't taking the extra step to find. That's the stuff you're going to consistently make money on. Not only that, that's the stuff that's not going to tank as hard. If everybody can find it, the price is going to drop. If not very many people find that, the price is going to stay more consistent.
Same thing goes for eBay with that too. Like a lot of people, I do a lot of clothing and hats. A lot of people will scan the barcodes on clothing and hats. Well, people aren't listing those with the barcodes on eBay. So the only way that would come up is if someone, when they list it, scans that in. They're not going to. So manually looking up is the best way if you can't find something. And even if you can find it, you're going to pull more results manually as well for eBay.
Has this changed like your normal shopping trips? Like whenever you go grocery shopping and stuff, you're so used to picking up items and scanning them?
Yeah, you're always sourcing. That's the problem. Every time you walk into a store now, it's like you're there to buy groceries, but you see this and you're like, oh, and you pull your phone out and you start searching it, and we find stuff like that. Like it is crazy. And the funny thing is, like I said, my wife, she can source just as good as I can, and she does the same thing. She'll go to the store to pick up some items, and I'll be at home packing shipments or something. She'll call me. She'll be like, hey, I found this. How many do you want me to buy? You know what I mean? She has a company credit card on her, and she's like, what do you want me to buy? Buy everything they have. If it looks that good and you think it's going to make money, buy it. So she'll go pick up groceries and fill her entire car full of inventory at the same time. And that's just, you kind of have to be doing that. You always have to be looking for inventory. That's the biggest thing with the reselling. People ask all the time with Amazon about replens. I hate the term replens. Replens to me don't really exist. A replen's only good as long as you can consistently buy it at a good price and the price holds. If it's a replen that everybody can find, that price isn't going to hold, or it's only on sale for so long, you're not going to be able to keep doing that over and over and over again. So if you think you're going to go out and build the business off of just 5 or 6 items you can just keep buying, it's not going to happen. You got to constantly be sourcing, constantly looking for new stuff. Like online sales come up constantly, or you're walking in stores like you just said. I mean, you walk in and you find something. It might be something that now you can go to 5 or 6 of those stores and pick up that same item that you just happened to pick up during a shopping trip.
WV Scoop asks, do any of you guys list on the following sites: eBay, Amazon, Mercari, Poshmark? I do all those but Posh. I'm not a huge fan of Posh.
Yeah, mostly eBay and then shoe sites. I like selling in person mostly whenever it comes to shoe stuff, but Goat, StockX, eBay. That's where I'm at.
I do eBay and Amazon primarily. So.
And Thrifty All Day wants to know what part of Pennsylvania you're from.
Central PA, right in the middle.
Nice.
Not too far from us then.
No, not at all. What YouTube channel should I watch to learn about Amazon? Right here.
Yeah,
Amazon Adam, Arbitrage
link in the
Garage.
description below.
He's already released like 4 like really good like tutorial videos, like packed full of information that most people would like make you pay for. So definitely him. I wouldn't recommend any other Amazon sellers, honestly. I've watched a lot of their content, and most of them are just hiding stuff and trying to sell you a course.
Yeah.
What do you do in this instance then? Like if you're doing RA, can you get invoices straight from the cash register? I mean, they're handing you receipts, so what's that look like?
You're ungating. You're going to have to get invoices online. I mean, I don't really know of anybody's invoices that they're accepting that you're going to get one in store. And I'm pretty sure places like Costco and that, I don't think their invoices work as far as I know. So there's a handful of different places that work. There's also one trick that works, but a lot of people don't suggest. I've ungated many brands buying from Amazon themselves. And that's kind of a trick that a lot of people don't talk about. It's kind of hard for Amazon to say their invoice is no good on a product they're selling. So as long as they're the seller, like you can do that. And I'm like Adam said, I'm going to make an ungating video and I'm going to show that in the video. I have the invoice and everything here. We'll see if it works. I haven't tried it yet. So I'm actually going to do it, video it, the whole process, you know what I mean? And submit it and see if it works. So.
Also, I just saw in the last part of that question, it said that you made your own invoice and it wouldn't let you sell. I wouldn't do that. That's against Amazon terms of service. They could kill your account for that. Yeah,
they see you forging invoices or something like that. And Amazon's a one and done. You have one account for life. So if you do anything to mess that up, like that's it. And they watch IPs and everything like that. Like if people all go into Amazon accounts from the same IP address even, and one has been shut down and the other, they can link them together. That's another thing you kind of got to watch with like fulfillment centers and stuff using third-party places. If one bad seller is linked to that place, it may affect other people's accounts. So that was another decision I made when I wanted to hire someone instead of outsourcing is risking the account kind of thing. So you got to be careful with that. I definitely wouldn't forge an invoice. There's so many easy ways to get invoices out there. It's really not required. You don't have to do
that. We got some kind words for Arbitrage Garage. He's already produced more helpful videos than anyone else I've ever seen in regards to Amazon. Can't wait for him to drop more. He's got more in the works, guys. He's grinding.
Make sure you sub, link in description.
Yeah, that is a very loaded question. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you can, but for eBay, I'll answer for eBay. For eBay, it's called a Vero, basically. And I honestly don't worry about them until they happen, because you only get in trouble if they happen like 3 or 4 times on the same brand or the same product. So once one happens, I know that brand is going to be doing crap, so I just don't sell that brand on eBay anymore. a lot of people try to make like a whole Vero list, and it's like, I don't have time for that. I'm just going to list stuff. If it gets pulled, I'll move it on Mercari, and I won't move that brand anymore on eBay. For Amazon, it really, if you're ungated, you're fine, I think, unless you're selling like Crocs and they're sending you fake cease and desist letters. I mean, I guess other ones.
The only thing on Amazon, IP complaints is one thing on Amazon.
Yeah.
There's different brands now. Like you said, Crocs send you letters.
They don't.
I get one every month, and they don't do anything. Those you don't really have to worry about. I don't worry about those until they actually hit your account. But usually the brands that will IP you don't send you a letter. Next thing you know, you're going to wake up in the morning, you're going to have an email from Amazon, and you're going to have a ding on your account. And fighting those off, you're not going to fight them. I mean, I have fought them. I have submitted invoices and done everything Amazon wanted me to do, and they stay on your account for 180 days. With that being said, like when I first started, I didn't know what an IP complaint was. So learning what that is and how to avoid it is a big thing. If you can figure out how to avoid those kind of things, you don't have to worry about it as much. As far as getting the account shut down, I don't know that there's any magic number of IP complaints until they shut you down.
What's the most you've had?
I've had 7 at one time.
Ooh.
So, and my account was still active. So I think it probably depends on volume. Like by the time I had those, I was doing a pretty decent volume. So probably if you're not doing very many and you would get that many at one time, you may lose your account. You know, I don't think there's any way to know for sure. But there's enough softwares and like SellerAmp has IP stuff on it and IP Alert. I use IP Alert. I use it on my computer. So when I'm sourcing online and I pull an Amazon page, it automatically pops up and tells me, you know, there's an IP complaints. And then they also have a mobile side of it where I can check it in store. A lot of them, once you're sourcing, you know the brands you're good with. A lot of times if I'm sourcing and I find a different brand that I don't know anything about, I'm like, yeah, this brand's different. I'll check it. And then you can kind of dig in deeper there. It gets pretty deep. Like you can look at Keepa charts and you can figure all that kind of stuff out. I'm gonna talk about IPs and how to look at that, how to read Keepa charts to find the IPs. There's things that alert in IP Alert that I still buy because I look at the sales charts and there's a good many sellers on them. There's no indication that there was ever big drops of sellers and things like that. So I still buy them. I mean, I'll take a little bit of a risk. Right now, I don't have any IP complaints. So I'll take a little more of a risk now because I'm not real worried about it. But that really, I think, is the only way on Amazon you're really going to get your account blocked would be by getting too many of them or possibly inauthentic claims. Like if you're selling shoes or something, we get this question all the time in Bread and Butter about selling shoes without the box. I don't suggest it. You can if you want. I wouldn't do it. I've only ever had one inauthentic claim, and it was shoes. And I sent them in the factory box. And I think what happened, I never got them back. So I think what happened was they were returned, and Amazon reboxed them because the inauthentic claim said they weren't in the original box. And when I sent them, they were in the original box. So at some point they got switched, and it was all FBA. So I never touched the item when it got returned. But I had the receipt. That's the other big thing. Like keep your receipts somehow. Like either keep them in your hand or I scan mine into the computer. So as soon as I got hit, I knew where I bought those shoes. It was Kohl's. I submitted the receipt and I never heard anything else about it and never hurt my account. So that would be another thing. Like if you start getting dinged for a bunch of those, like Amazon's gonna lock your account or stop you from selling. The other thing with Amazon is once they lock your account, whatever money is in that account, they're not giving you. So I tell people all the time, like a lot of people will wait every 2 weeks to get paid. You can get paid daily on Amazon if you just hit the pay me now button. I do it every day because I don't want to wake up in the morning and my account's locked and there's 15 grand in there and I can't touch it. You know what I mean? So I kind of tell people that all the time. Like if you can pull money out, pull it out because you never know what's going to happen. That's the risky thing with Amazon. I think Amazon's probably a little more tricky than eBay with that. Like eBay, you get Veros, but I mean, you're really going to have to do quite a bit to get your account shut down. So that was the big thing with me with adding the eBay side was a little bit of security. I mean, you never know when you're going to wake up and you're going to lose that account. I mean, if my Amazon account got locked, I could just hustle harder on eBay, buy some more inventory, and still continue to make enough income to pay my bills.
Yeah, you don't want to go put all your eggs in one basket.
Yep.
Although I think it would be a pretty good video. It would get a lot of clicks. Like, how many IPs does it take to get your Amazon shut down? If you want to like dive on the sword for that one.
Yeah.
Oh, my lights just flickered. So by the way, it is thunderstorming. If we lose this,
Yeah.
if this drops, that's why.
Yeah. Power. I already lost power once. I'm surprised it came back on actually so fast.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to see it in the dark.
I was gonna ask that too. Like, if you're scanning aisles, which applause to you, because I'm like, whenever I'm sourcing just for eBay, I'm like kind of secretively looking at stuff just because I feel like it gets a bad rep. Like people in the store that are
This
shopping,
question.
yeah, and people that are working there, like I feel like they always have something to say about it, or that they give you get a bad rep. So whenever you're scanning like a whole aisle, do people give you looks or like ask you what you're doing? Or
Yeah, and you have to be careful. Certain stores frown upon the reselling.
can they even do anything about it though? Really? I mean,
I
Target's jerks about it. I know
Target is, and I had one Kohl's. I got tossed out of a Kohl's. So
really,
yeah, I and it was weird. It was a clearance event, and it wasn't even Amazon stuff. It was stuff I was buying for eBay, shoes and stuff. And I was by myself. My wife wasn't with me, so. And you know how big Kohl's carts are. You can't fit hardly anything in them. So I had made multiple trips. Like I had done like 2 orders already and checked out with the same person each time. And I was fine. Well, the third time I came through with a cart full of inventory, it was like the store manager. And she just like jumped all over me. She's like, I'm not supposed to be selling to you. And like, you're not allowed to be buying this stuff. And then she's like, but I'll let you purchase this because I want rid of the stuff. And I'm like, well, I was going to come back in and get more. And she's like, don't come back in here. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm like, next time I won't come here and drop thousands. You just said you wanted rid of this inventory, but
yeah.
But most stores like Target can be jerks. I've never been thrown out of a Target. I'm kind of careful. Loss prevention will follow you around Target. I've been followed around Target by loss prevention before, and they're not very secretive about it. You know that they're standing there staring at you. But it's one of those things where, I mean, they kind of let you alone. They could. I have heard of other sellers getting tossed out of Target, like on Black Friday and stuff, being told to leave. A lot of the stores I'm sourcing now are the discount kind of stores, and those places are super reseller friendly. Like, I mean, they're telling you when they get their trucks. They're inviting you in the back room, showing you stuff. We were in a store a couple of weeks ago, and the manager says, "Is there anything else you want? You know, I might have something in the back. If there's something you want, let me know." And we bought like 12 shopping carts full of stuff in that store. And he was out there like helping me load it in my truck. He's like, you know, if you ever don't have enough room, I'll put it in the back for you on a skid. And you can come back later and get it. Like a lot of places are friendly like that. So that's the thing. I haven't really, besides that one Kohl's, I've never had an issue. And I've been in tons of stores and scanned tons of items and never had much trouble. So
yeah, everywhere I've gone, they've always been friendly and like they always are asking about the business for the most part. Like even at Kohl's one on their last event, the lady, I had like 2 or 3 shopping carts full of shoes, and she's like, if you need a bigger cart, I got them. Like, please come back and buy more. Like they don't, most of them don't even give a crap. They're just trying to get rid of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. I guess on my side of things, like most of the shoe drops are normally like one per person, so it's always been super frowned upon to be reselling. So like if we ever finagled our way into stores to buy multiple pairs, it was always like super secretive. So I never really told people, you know, what we were doing if that were the case. But I feel like if I was in a Kohl's or something where I was about to get thrown out, I'd be like, I'm doing it for like a charity or something. I'm trying to like buy a bunch of shoes for kids or something. I mean, I don't understand how they can throw you out for that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't even admit to it in that Kohl's. She straight up asked me. She said, "Where are you selling these?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I just played dumb. I was like, she's like, "You sell these on eBay or Amazon?" I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then she just started with well, I can't be selling to you if you're reselling. I said, "Well, I'm not reselling. I don't even know what you're talking about." I mean, obviously I was, but I wasn't admitting to anything. Like, so
did this chick think that she was swinging Jordans or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I loaded it in the truck and left and didn't go back to that Kohl's, so I won't hit that one again. So
she probably managed a Foot Locker for like 2 weeks, a month before that. Unreal. That's crazy.
A good one. Have you created any Amazon listings yourself, or do you just use what's already out there?
I use what's out there. Creating Amazon listings, for one, depending on what it is, you can't create listings for certain brands like Nike and stuff like that. You're not going to make new listings. That stuff's all locked down. So a lot of them, you're not going to be able to create them. If you can create them, getting traction to those listings, it's not like eBay. Like, it's not like if someone searches it, they're going to see it. Amazon's going to suppress that because they're going to want you to do pay-per-click advertising and all kinds of different things to get views to that. It's difficult on Amazon. So with doing the arbitrage side of it, it's easier to just make sure that what you're buying is listed on Amazon. If it doesn't show up either by scanning it or searching it, I just don't buy it. And the same thing, like colors, variations, sizes, make sure that whatever you're buying, like just because you scan something and one's listed, make sure they're all listed. There's a lot of listings on Amazon where that'll happen. Like you'll buy a different color or a different size, and the one you checked first comes up, but the next one doesn't.
I get chirped so bad. Dude, I already lost power, so you're late to the party. Why don't you chirp me on that too?
Hey, but it came back.
Yeah, it did come back. No, I hopped in and out of airplane mode before we started this, so we're Gucci.
Do you mediate or practice anything to keep going? I know you are always busy, especially in the entrepreneur world. Practicing. Do you like stay to like a certain schedule or something, or kind of like mix it up? For me, like I ship like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, source Tuesday, Thursday. And I kind of source all the days, go to the post office Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's nice to mix it up a little bit, but you also have to keep yourself on a schedule or you're going to be slacking.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of shift my schedule as to what we have going on. That's the thing. Like I try to source RA. My plan when I went full time was to source 2 days a week, but I can find so much in one day. I bury myself, and I've yet to source 2 days in the same week doing RA and been able to keep up. So I don't really have a set sourcing day. I just try to source 1 day a week, and then the rest of the week, whatever it is, if I source the next day, I'm packing out to Amazon, and then in there, I'm throwing in eBay listing and whatever I need to do.
Hopefully you can up that to 2 days a week once you get an employee to do all the non-fun stuff.
That's the plan. Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, that could easily double your listings if you're sourcing twice in 1 week. That's your double in sales right there.
Do you utilize coupons? More just like sales, like Kohl's, like extra 50%. I don't know that I really am looking at coupons and breaking those down.
Discount codes and stuff, maybe whenever we find them, I guess.
Yeah.
But those are normally just sale codes.
Extreme Couponer Edition, Millennial Profit Edition.
You remember those things in like Kroger and Walmart where you'd press the button and it'd like spit you out the coupon? Yeah, that's
give you a sample too sometimes.
Yeah. Those were sick. I thought I was rich, like running around the store pressing all the buttons and collecting all the coupons. And then we would never even buy the stuff that was on the coupons.
I can't attest to this. He got blackballed from GameStop for buying. No, it wasn't PS5s. It was PS3s back when those came out. Yeah,
and something like that, like that's a little more understanding, I guess, because everybody knows you're scalping them. But if you're just like shopping discounted items in the store, I don't see any reason to come down on somebody for that. It's stuff that you're trying to liquidate anyways. It wouldn't be marked down if you didn't want to get rid of it. So who cares? Who cares if you're buying it and burning it?
I know. Most of like 95% of the stores are not going to hassle you. Most of them are going to be interested about it. They're just going to be happy to get rid of it. When you get a Karen manager, the 5% of the time, that's when you might have problems, but I wouldn't worry about it. I usually don't even, if you can tell the cashier's cool and they ask like, what are you buying these for? Which first of all, not really your business, but I usually just say I'm selling them. And then that sparks them asking about it. But you can tell if they're going to be an idiot about it or not.
We've talked about this before, but Amazon, Adam, how many times have you gotten the question like, oh, do you really like this? Or are you using all these for yourself?
All the time. Yeah. Are you donating them or giving them to somebody? Or you get that all the time.
I got one of those the other day. I got to see if I can find that. They asked, why are you selling this? And I said, to make money. I forget what they said back, but it was funny.
The same reason anybody else says.
Oh,
especially if you're doing like household products. Like you walk in a line with like 17 Dove soaps and they're like, no. You really like taking showers?
Yeah.
Hey, why are you selling these? To make money. Nothing wrong with them? Nope. And that was it. That was it. Thanks for wasting my time.
You should save that conversation and hit him back in like 2 months and be like, "What's up?"
I thought about making a video of all my funny message conversations. That one's not even close. Like, I've roasted some people in eBay messages before, so I should make one if I can dig all those up.
I think one of my most recent ones was those pools, and she never pursued anything either. She was like threatening me with returning them because she said the boxes were damaged. And she was like telling me how to package the items, and I was like, listen, lady, I'm gonna get them to you safe and sound. You don't got to worry about it. And she was like acting like the pool boxes were collectibles or something. I was like, jeez.
So you guys buy stuff on discount? Any good apps to see what sells before you sell them? Yeah, we're not guessing on items at all. It's completely research. I'll answer for eBay. I'll let Adam answer for Amazon. For eBay, it's all about looking up sell-through rates and sold comps, which are basically the items that have sold on eBay. So you can type in exactly what the item is. You can scan it. You can see the active market. You can see the sold market. You compare that, and that's how you find the sell-through rate. Again, I have videos on all this. So it's doing that research. You're not guessing on items that you think are going to sell. The way the guessing kind of comes in and the knowledge is like knowing what items that you're seeing are good to look up. That way you're not constantly having to look up every single item in the store. Eventually you build that memory bank up and you're able to just pick out a certain number of items in an aisle or a clothing rack or whatever to look up.
Yeah, Amazon's the same way. It's all about research. I mean, Amazon has product sales ranks. So basically everything you're doing is based off of those sales ranks. No matter what you're doing, if you're using a third-party app like Seller Amp or something like that, it's basing all of the percentages and how many are selling a month and all of that. That's all estimated because Amazon's not telling everybody that information. So they're estimating that off of sales ranks and stuff. So the most important thing with Amazon is basically that sales rank. It starts at 1 and goes to however many products are in that category. So the closer to 1 you can get that sales rank, the faster the item's selling. And then each category is different. Like 100,000 rank in one category might be good and it might not be good in another. So that it's all research. It's learning what ranks and what categories sell the fastest, knowing like this is in this category and it's 20,000 rank. Like Crocs are all under like 5,000 rank. Normally they sell insanely fast. Like that's a no-brainer. You see a Croc and it makes profit, you know it's going to sell quickly. But it's all research. It's learning how to do it, learning what categories to source, like you said. So you're not scanning the entire aisle, you're skipping over half the aisle and you find this thing or that thing and then you check it. So it's all research, and it's learning how to do that research and read those numbers. That's what makes you better at finding the products.
Mm-hmm. So how do you source certain sizes that you know sell? Yeah, same thing. It's all sold comps in the sizes as well. Don't sell the sizes on Amazon though, like we talked about, unless you want some returns. I said I was going to have you answer some questions people ask on the tour video. I got to go to that. Ashley Rom. Oh, go ahead.
I was just trying to ask a question while you were looking for some, but you found them really fast. But I guess just real quick, did you say that does your wife have a business of her own, or does she work full time somewhere else?
Nope, she owns her own business also.
Okay.
So it was kind of crazy actually, because we both went self-employed like almost the same time. We both worked full-time jobs, and like I said, last June I didn't completely quit working. I switched from that job I had for 8 years to a different job, but I literally put my 2 weeks notice in, and she had this business she does now on the side. Like she had been doing it on the side for a while, and the job she was at, she had good health care and stuff, so that was kind of, I was going to go on my own. We were going to use her health care and all that kind of stuff. And then she got kind of passed over for a promotion at the job that she earned, and it was kind of upset her. And her business could easily be expanded quickly with what she was doing, completely separate from the selling thing. So I think she put in her notice a week after I did. So she quit and went full time on her thing last June, and then I continued to work until this February, but working less hours for somebody else. But yeah, now we're both self-employed. We both run our own businesses.
That's cool. Congrats.
All right. Ashley Ramos asks, she says, great tour. Do you keep a master list on Excel, or how do you keep track of what's in which bin? I think you answered most of these, but we'll just let you answer them in person too.
Yeah, for eBay, I keep everything on a Google Sheet. So everything is in the bins, but it's also numbered. So basically, I just started at 1 and work my way up. The same thing I do, and what I do with that for the eBay side of it is once it sells, I move it from that Google Sheet to another one where I put in my shipping, my fees, my sale price, and then calculate my net profits. I like kind of keeping track of my numbers. Amazon side of it, I use software that does it for me. The eBay side, I'm not moving enough to where I can't do it myself with the software now. But that way I can keep my net profits. I can break it down monthly. I know exactly what each side of the business is making. And then I know my total net for the month. For the Amazon side of it, that stuff's all different. It's not inventory numbered or anything like that, but it is all tracked as I buy it through my inventory lab software. So as I buy it, as I add it, I put my cost of goods in, and then that software actually pulls all the information from Amazon. So I don't have to do any of the calculating, even if it's returned or anything, it calculates all that for me. But yeah, I do keep a spreadsheet for my eBay inventory.
So when you go to a Kohl's or Target, you scan them on eBay with the barcode, and when they are discounted, yeah, and you're just constantly learning what items to look for yourself. If nothing comes up scanned, then you'll manually look it up. Here's one for you. Do you ever use BrickSeek when sourcing items in Walmart, Target, or Home Depot? I started using it, and I'm not having much luck. BrickSeek, so many people know about it that I feel like you're going to spend way too much time chasing crap than just going to the stores and scanning. Do you agree?
And it's inaccurate. The inventory numbers are never accurate. So you look at it, and I looked at it when I first started, but then realized real quickly, like, it was a wild goose chase. You were going in stores looking for stuff that wasn't even there. So the problem is, like, to take the time to go to a store to buy 1 or 2 items that you might make a little bit of money on, like, you got to take that time into consideration, the driving into consideration, and things like that. Like, I don't want to go chase 1 or 2 items. Like, I want to go fill my truck and make it worth my time. So BrickSeek to me has never really found me much. And like you said, so many people know about it. Any of that stuff is either gone or tanks or something like that.
Yeah, because even if you do find it, like, another 1,000 people have found it at other Walmarts, that same item. So the price is definitely not going to stay up anyways. So you just went through all that and then made $5 or $10 when you could have just filled your shopping cart with 25, 30 items you make $5 on. Like, it's volume. This is a good question. What are you doing for health insurance now? I know for me, it's definitely costly, but the way I've done it is I just weigh the pros and cons, and I'd rather have the freedom and pay a little more for worse health insurance.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah, just buy it privately. Like, there's lots of marketplaces out there. It is expensive, but it is what it is. It's either I work for somebody else for that benefit, or I work for myself and just pay for it. So yeah, that's what we do. We just buy it.
Yep. Do you use a van to move inventory?
Sounds like
you have
he's
a
got
truck, right?
Yeah, I have an
What kind of truck do you
F350.
drive?
Oh,
F350.
F350. Nice.
Dang.
Yeah,
The
I
gas
have
price
the
is gonna go
livestock and stuff.
4,500. Oh,
Yeah, well, and it's a diesel, so it's not cheap to run anyways. But I need the truck either way because we have the livestock and the horses, so the truck's a necessity to haul them. So it's not that I bought the truck for the business. I did upgrade the truck for the business. I bought a new truck, newer truck than what we had because we're running so hard. But yeah, I have an F350, and then I just recently put a cap on it. And I hate truck caps; they look terrible, but it doubled my capacity for sourcing. So we always exactly. There's nothing I can. It's either that or buy a van. I really don't want to have another vehicle. Like, I'm already using the truck anyways for everything else. And like I said, when we source, we don't go out and source like we want to buy 100 products. We don't go out and say we want to spend $3,000. We literally source until that truck's full. Like, until we can't put anything else in the truck, then we turn around and come home. Yesterday we went out RA sourcing, and it was a little drier than it normally is, the RA sourcing. So we hit more stores than we normally hit in a day to fill the truck, but we didn't stop until we didn't have any more room.
Anything that makes money, anything that has good market data that can make us money, we'll buy. Yeah. At least me. I've sold freaking like breast pumps before. Like, I don't have any shame in selling anything.
Yep, I'll sell anything.
You don't have a covered wagon? It's so disappointing.
He
Let's talk a little bit.
Trailer.
Let's talk a little bit about that though, because I teased that in the thumbnail, the last one, that you're a part-time farmer as well. So like, what kind of animals or like crops or anything? I don't really know the farming terms, but
yeah, it's all livestock. So we started, I don't even know, a handful of years ago. My kids all show animals in 4-H and stuff like that. My one daughter, she shows horses competitively. So we started with the horses, and then we added livestock. We actually breed boar goats, so now we run some of them and sell off kids to people, sell off breeding bucks and stuff to people. Not a lot of money in that. It barely pays to feed them, but it's a hobby of ours. And we have horses, we have pigs, cattle, goats, sheep. We have a little bit of everything here. So in my tour video, or in my other videos, I said we have about 45 animals here to feed. So that's another thing. Like I have a wife, we have 4 kids, and we have all of that to pay for also.
Dude, that's a YouTube title right there.
So
how my Amazon business feeds 47 mouths.
Yeah.
I'd go for 50 for more clicks.
Yeah. My Amazon business feeds 50 mouths a day. That's crazy. That's sweet though. So most of it's raised to sell to butcher, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, there's some pets that hang out here, but most of it, the kids show in 4-H, so they get projects every year. Either we have them born here and they raise them, or we do buy them some of their projects, and then they raise them, they take care of them, they show them, and then they bank that money into their savings accounts. So it kind of gives the kids, they're running their own little business as far as raising the livestock. And then we started breeding some to just sell them and build up our own stuff. So I sell to other kids, I sell to other people that breed. So yeah, that's what we do with them.
It's a good responsibility showing animals too. It's like a pretty long-term commitment and responsibility, and then you get paid at the end. I think it's cool. I'm in a rural place too, so
rural.
All I have is chicken.
I didn't realize you can make money buying stuff on clearance and not buying used. No, I only buy new. I think all of us pretty much only buy new.
I buy all new.
Our last guest was a lot of used stuff. Caleb was mostly thrift and used things, right?
Yeah, that's the best way though to start and to build capital. They're going to have way higher margins than buying new stuff, so don't expect to come in and get those same like margins you were getting in the thrift store. It's more of a volume game though, so it takes some capital as well.
Yeah. Plus, it was lower cost at first, I think Caleb said, but yeah, I guess either way you can make money though. It's just whatever you're interested in and what your budget is, what your cash flow is.
Either way, like Adam has done, like I did, you just gotta jump in and do it yourself. You're gonna make mistakes. You can only watch. You can only buy so many courses. You got to do it. I mean, we've said that 100 times. It sounds like a broken record, but there's only so many things you can research. Like you just got to do it. You got to make mistakes, learn from those mistakes.
Yep. No better experience than gaining it firsthand.
Appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, join Bread and Butter. That's something else that we talked about too. So like all these like courses and stuff that we're bashing on and all these leads that everybody has, that's what makes Bread and Butter so special, is it's kind of exclusive and we're sharing.
Everyone's course sucks except for ours.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody sucks except for us. So just stick with Bread and Butter, okay?
It's so funny because we're just bashing on all these courses. Everyone's just trying to sell you a course. Hey, join Bread and Butter down below.
Yeah, literally doing the same thing. It is different though. It really is. I mean,
yeah, it is. We've tried to be completely different from every other like cook group or leads group out there.
Yeah. Plus we got the bolos, and that's what I think makes RA so special. And I feel like that's probably why Adam has so much success with it. Is because also like the logistics behind putting these items in the store. Everything is so readily available online, but like the online store is the same across the United States. In store, it's not. Like you're gonna find items, especially with like the eBay stores that we're sourcing. You're not gonna see the same stuff from city to city, let alone state to state.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Way less competition.
Yep.
That's a good question. Do you plan on making a video sending items into FBA without inventory labs? Most videos I see use inventory labs.
Yeah. So I am going to make them both ways. I actually already shot them. So the non-inventory lab one is going to come out first. The inventory lab one I actually have to reshoot because a week after I shot it, inventory lab decided to change their interface a little bit, so it needs reshot.
Oh,
So
man.
some of the screens and the processes completely changed a week after I did it. But yeah, I have one using Amazon, and it'll be the first one that comes out of the two because it is pretty much ready, just needs edited. So in the next probably 2 weeks, I'm going to hopefully have that one out. That one's going to take a lot of editing because I did a lot of screen recording and stuff that I'm going to have to jump back and forth on. But yeah, I'm going to walk through the whole process because when you're starting out, I tell people all the time, don't go buy a whole bunch of tools. You don't need all that stuff. Learn with what you're given from Amazon. They give you the seller app and they give you the website. You can do everything you need to do with those two things. Learn product ranks and how to buy low rank items, and just use those two things, and don't waste money on tools you don't need. Once your business grows, once it's making money, use those tools to advance the business. But yeah, I'll definitely have one coming out soon on how to do an FBA shipment.
I like this. It's not a course, it's a lifestyle. Hustling is a lifestyle.
Hustling is a lifestyle. I love that.
We're getting all kinds of phrases to put on shirts today. We got to watch this back and write these down.
We're gonna have to launch some more merch. Get these bags rolling. We got all kinds of ideas coming in. Thanks, guys. Keep dropping them.
Yeah. Do you get the preferential treatment as a seller when dealing with customer service because you're a big seller on Amazon? Customer service on Amazon sucks. I'll say that first off.
Yeah, I don't think they care how big you are.
You're not as big as them.
You might as well. Yeah, you might as well forget getting any kind of special treatment. I mean, really, I don't usually have to deal with them. You don't really have that many problems. If it's like a return thing or something like that, it's all automated. I mean, unless you really had an issue and tried to fight it. And if the automated system is not letting you reimburse it or get reimbursed, more than likely a person is not going to care. They're not going to make any difference. So Amazon is eBay, like eBay for business. I've used them and talked to them about things and had them call me, and they fixed problems right away. Don't expect that from Amazon. I mean, I don't know very many people who have very good luck calling Amazon and trying to get something solved. So it doesn't matter how big you are.
You don't get anywhere. Yeah, eBay used to be the same exact way. And then like a year and a half ago, they added eBay for business on Facebook. And it's like great. Like sometimes it takes a day to get back to you. But once they get back to you, like you can have a nice conversation with them back and forth. And they usually help you out. Definitely make sure to follow that on Facebook if you haven't already. And make sure to subscribe to these two. Austin will teach you guys everything you need to know about shoes. He's got some cool content coming. You went out in public and interviewed people on their shoes. So that should be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be more like live in the community, trying to get out and enjoy, the weather and the space during summer and talk to people about sneakers. I had a consignment video that I dropped that we're going to follow up on hopefully later this summer. And then next week's video, we hit the zoo. So we're going to check out some animals and talk to some sneakerheads. We got a few more of those planned for the summer too.
Heck yeah. And then Adam, Arbitrage Garage, just started his channel, but he's already pumping out bangers. So make sure you guys check that out. Those are the first two links in the description. We got, man, these questions. This is literally a Q&A, which is awesome. Appreciate you guys. I already put that one up. Can you explain real fast why I should buy bread and butter? What do I learn since you crap on programs? If you're just starting out, I honestly, this is going to sound bad, but I honestly would not join bread and butter if you're just starting out. I would start the way I've talked about in the past. I would sell thrifted items. I would learn how to look up eBay sell-through rates, eBay actives and solds, comparing all that. If you do this is a lot less risky than diving right into retail or online arbitrage. You can lose a lot of money in that. So the best way to do it is selling used items, learning how to do that, learning your niche, what you sell best, learning how to source, how to ship, all of that stuff. You can only learn so much by joining a group. And then, I mean, we're pretty much like a heavy leads group at this point. So we have a lot of people in there that answer questions. Both Adams are in there, Austin's in there, and we'll answer any questions you guys have. But I think the best way is just to do it yourself first. And I wouldn't join until you have a decent bit of knowledge and capital.
Yeah. Once you get through selling some of the stuff that you don't use at your house anymore, or use things around your house, Honestly, just kind of think of it as like a gamble. Like take $100, like whatever you're willing to lose, and then maybe start to try to source some cheaper items or thrift or something like that. Build a little bit of inventory and just learn how the sales and how the programs work. Because until then, it's probably not worth investing in a lot of different tools to help you. Adam kind of said something about that too with Amazon.
So you don't have Jeff Bezos' personal phone number?
No.
He tells me not to call him all the time about my Amazon problems. So
learn from you all about to buy new sneakers and make money. Yeah, that's all it be sneakers. That's all he talks about.
That's pretty much what my entire channel revolves around.
You got 3 different niches right here.
Yeah. There's an entertainment side of sneakers in mine for sure, but most of it's buying and selling sneakers, and a lot of it's, new stuff, hype stuff.
I think I'm doing okay on eBay for 90-day sales, 93 sales. That's pretty good for 90 days. That's like a sale a day. That's really solid, but still learning. Nice.
Well, that's really good. I mean, I don't get that amount of sales. My eBay store is super small. I use that as that's probably like my lowest grade side hustle I got going on right now, to be honest. But
you're doing more like bulk, like in-person deals, though. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Wholesale.
Yeah. I like to stay away from fees as much as possible, to be honest. The fees kill, man. And a lot of the items that I'm selling, there's enough demand that I can sell them in person. So
cash is king.
Always. Yeah, this has been great.
Oh, we're still coming. Thanks. Do you have any videos on eBay sell-through rates? Yes. If you go to my tutorials, eBay for beginners, or my playlist, eBay for beginners, it's in there. There's a bunch of videos that can teach you all that stuff. And if you want to learn Amazon, go to Arbitrage Garage. We're plugging it hard. We're trying to get him over 200 tonight.
Yeah, let's go. Run up those subs. Get those above 200.
Let's get Austin to 5K too while we're at it.
Yeah, I haven't said anything, but honestly, 5K, I might do another sick giveaway. Why not?
Oh, 5K pairs of shoes.
Yeah, 5,000 pairs of shoes. I'm gonna have to go clean out a Kohl's and see if I get kicked out. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't thought about another giveaway. What did we do last time? I think the last giveaway that I did was it with you, or did I do?
Didn't you do money?
Or I did do a money one. Yeah, you're right. But then before that, it was what I did a pair of Yeezys.
You did those yellow shoes to Australia, didn't you?
Yeah, that was crazy. That sucked on my part, but I mean, I followed through with it. I've followed through on every giveaway so far, so hopefully everybody who's entered has been happy with it because they've had a fair chance. I think a pair of Yeezys was from your giveaway. I remember, was it Otis? Dude named Otis won those.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Austin, you've got a question.
Sick.
You mentioned moving items through in-person sales. Where do you list your shoes?
Okay, so a lot of the in-person stuff, there's shoe conventions. That's a thing. You'll buy like a vendor table space, and there's a bunch of attendees and a bunch of vendors. So you'll bring all of your inventory to one place at a specific time, and then it's mostly just cash sales there. So you can do it that way, or I've had a couple cash outs in stores. So there's sneaker resale stores that need more inventory. They're always growing their inventory, buying and selling sneakers. So sometimes, I have a good connection with a few of those stores. I'll take in a lot of my inventory and then just have a huge cash out. Recently, I'm working with a store to consign some shoes. So that deal's a little bit different. It's actually kind of like what Adam's doing with Amazon. So I'll move inventory to a store space. That way I'm not holding it on my own. And then my sneakers sit on the store shelf. And then once they sell, I get paid. And that way I'm actually fetching a better rate than I probably could on eBay, StockX, or GOAT, just based on how he has his shoes priced on his shelves. So in all of those instances, I'm avoiding the fees, the shipping, and all that. So it's more enticing for me to sell that way.
Next question. Have you ever considered using Shopify? I have Shopify. Shameless plug. Rolled out the Moneymaker bags. If you watched Adam's tour video, he was carrying this on a horse. If you haven't seen that and want to see it, you should go check that out.
Yeah, go check it out.
But as for like
the beginning too.
Yeah, as for selling other stuff on Shopify, like you got to do your own marketing on that. So you need a following to use that, and you really need to pay a lot in marketing. So I honestly don't recommend it. I've seen there's people that have success with it, but most of them have followings. eBay and Amazon do all of the marketing and everything for you. So that's why you're paying the fees, because they're advertising and everything like that. So people can complain about like eBay 10-15% fees, Amazon fees as well, but they're doing all the marketing for you. They're giving you the platform and the items that are up at the top to be able to sell. So I'd rather pay that than having to try to pay my own marketing for Shopify.
Right. At the end of the day, a lot of people complain about like even like brick and mortar places. Sneaker stores have a huge markup. Well, they have the marketplace. Same with eBay, same with Amazon, Goat, StockX. We complain about the fees, and like I was complaining about it a second ago. I mean, I'll avoid it if I can, but I can't just like throw up my own website with sneakers and try and sell a bunch of stuff. It's just not going to work. Everybody has those same SKUs in different areas that have a lot more exposure. So you're almost kind of paying for that exposure for your items.
For sure.
And it's worth it. Otherwise, your items wouldn't sell. Like, we hate these platforms, but we love them because that's what we use. They're making us money.
Right. Well, we're an hour 40 deep. I think we're going to wrap this up. Does anyone have any last words of advice for people?
I just want to say that if anybody has any questions, make sure you drop those after this post too, because the live questions will disappear. And after this video post, we can have more questions for Adam or for what you guys want to see next. Obviously watch that tour with Adam in his warehouse. It was sick. That got me fired up. Your warehouse is nuts. And then obviously subscribe to the channels.
Questions are flying in now that they know we're gone. So we'll try. Would you say it's easier for scammers to take advantage of sellers on Amazon compared to eBay since they are more buyer friendly?
Yeah, it's easier on Amazon for sure. They're very buyer friendly, and they'll let pretty much anybody return anything. That's just part of selling on Amazon. I mean, just kind of like the conversation we just had. It's the platform's there, and you can move a lot of stuff, and you just kind of got to deal with the returns and the things like that. There's really not much you can do about it, but I would say definitely there's more people that take advantage of it on Amazon for sure.
Do you think eBay Live will be as successful like Whatnot? I saw that's finally getting rolled out. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, eBay's already got all the sellers. They've already got all the buyers too. Like they still have more active users than Whatnot. So it'll be interesting, but eBay's still like kind of behind the times on a lot of stuff. I mean, they still don't even have immediate payment on everything. So we'll see how much they actually like put into this, but we'll see. It'll be interesting. They like Fun World videos, like your bloopers. If you've fallen off the horse almost. I liked the last one where you're just like going backwards and you were trying to just power through it. And then finally you're like, okay, this isn't going to work.
It was like
everything went super smooth. Everything went super smooth until the horse got involved, and then there was like 12 takes. Everything else was like 1 or 2 takes shot and done, and then the horse, it was just take after take after take. So there was nothing you could do. She's an older horse and a little grumpy and wanted to do her own thing and did not appreciate me being on her back. So
it was worth it for the content.
Yeah,
for sure. What is a realistic investment amount to start up with Amazon? I find I'm continuously investing and not rolling over my original investment, around $600.
I don't know that there's a certain number. I mean, you can start with anything. It's just a matter of depending on what you start with, and then buying good inventory is the most important thing. If you put that $600 in there and you're buying stuff that's either not selling or you're not making enough on, you're never going to get it to grow. Like I had mentioned, I put $1,500 in on my own money. We just kept rolling that. I didn't put more in it. I literally started with $1,500, and now we've done over 600,000 in sales. So we've just rolled that over and over. Originally I started with using it out of my personal bank account because I didn't know if it was going to work or not. So once I got that $1,500 back, we opened a business bank account. I paid myself back the $1,500 and then just kept rolling every profit back into it. I would say the biggest thing is finding stuff that sells quickly and stuff that you're making good profit on. You want to be trying to get the highest margins you can on stuff, especially when you're trying to grow it. Now, once you get to a point where you have it built up, you can take a risk on some stuff that may be a little higher ranked that a lot of people won't touch, or maybe stuff that's a little lower profit, but will move quicker because you have that capital. But to build it, go for low ranked stuff with high ROI and just build it from there.
And like Adam mentioned earlier, you don't want to go all in on one product with that 600, because that's how you could just be sitting on a product that isn't going to sell. So kind of disperse it among different products. That way you've got some wins in there. You're probably going to take some losses too if you're just learning.
Yeah. Kind of like a cost to learn. How much is it going to take for you to learn how to make conscientious decisions and buy good inventory? I feel like everybody's number is probably going to be a little bit different, but.
Right. All right. Well, we don't have any more questions, so we're going to cap it right here. I really appreciate everyone for watching. Make sure to subscribe to both of these guys and subscribe to me if you're not already too. That'd be great. And be looking for more videos coming out from all three of us. We'll try to do another one of these lives within like 2 to 3 weeks. So thank you guys for watching All About Profit. We're going to try to play this outro and see if it works this time.